Yes, now Famalamo, welcome back to another video on Jazza TV. Tonight we're going to talk about genetics and what makes a fighter. Is it just genetics? Is it a combination of genetics and training, so to speak? The mental aspect, the diet aspect. Can you reach your genetics if you didn't complete all the other areas around the genetics? And even is genetics the most important thing here? So we'll start off with the amateur boxing system. Now, I knew the amateur boxing system. I travelled the world from my country and I got to see a variation of amateur boxing and who dominated on the amateur scene, and also not only who dominated, what was the stature like of the people who did dominate. And they had the outliers, what caused the outliers, and also can you make a fighter? Can you get a certain type of fighter and mould him to be the best? Because what you've got to remember, amateur boxing is very different to professional boxing. Both physique wise makes a difference, stamina wise makes a difference. You can go as far as saying sharpness wise makes a difference. The genetics are all different, and also determination and the things that you can't see, the heart, the resilience, the mental makeup of that person, stemming from what I believe back to be the childhood. So without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, we'll talk about going to a boxing gym as a child. Who are the outliers and who just have it genetically? Now, going through the whole process and going on to have children myself, my kids, whether they're genetically gifted or not, they just know how to fight. It's called osmosis. They've seen it all their life, they grew up around it, and I believe that somewhere in there you just know how to fight, because you were never taught, but you were never you was taught but you weren't taught. You just seen it subconsciously. You thought everyone could fight. It's only when you get a little bit older, some people can't box, and you realise, I don't know how, I know how to do it, just know how to do it. That's one. But there's also stress factors in environments, and there's a mentality response, and this is the fighter inside. I wouldn't call this kid a boxer, I would call him a fighter. He's resilient in life, and therefore his characteristics come out when he gets in the ring. Now, whether he's genetically there or not yet, whether he's born left-handed, right-handed, gives him an advantage. They are genetics, I believe, and sometimes the genetic predispositions aren't they as well. But he can be tall, he can be small. Oftentimes in the amateur system, you're rewarded for being tall. Now, I don't know if it's still like that, but when I was fighting amateur, that was the case. You're rewarded for being tall. And in boxing, they say that you're born with a puncher, with a technique to be able to punch. They say you're born with that. It's not, you don't know how you do it. And I've asked a lot of fighters. I'm away now with young Jack Turner, and when I speak to Jay Carney, who's one of his coaches in the gym, Jay Carney says to me, Jazz, this kid is not the hardest puncher in the gym pound for pound. He's the hardest puncher in the gym. And the highest weight in the gym is cruiserweight. Bear in mind, Jack isn't anything more than a bantamweight. I think he's fly or super fly, but he gets away with fighting. He has got away with his first few fights fighting at a higher weight because he can punch so hard, and he's getting put in with fighters who are actually, experience wise, he shouldn't be able to compete, but power wise, he's putting them over. So they say you're born with that, and I believe it, because I haven't got that. I weren't blessed with that attribute, but I worked my ass off to be like that. But yet still, probably that's not my attribute. I'm confident in my power, but I'm not confident to the point where I rely solely on my power. I need other things around the shot to set the shot up. So that's another one. Does the kid go in the gym with the mentality to understand that it's not about throwing punches alone? You have to move your head. You have to move your head and come back with a punch, which sets the counter punch up. Counter punches hit twice as much as normal shots most of the time because they don't see them coming. And has he got the IQ to see these things? Now I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, aren't I? Because the segues all over the place around the stuff. Boxing, it's just more than what meets the eye. So what else will go into it? Yeah, the tall kids in the amateur system, because it's a computer scoring system. Well, it was. Obviously, it doesn't. You don't depend on power. And if you land a punch and you don't even have to risk being in range, there's an advantage right away. So the tall kids get rewarded, but when these tall kids turn professional, it's a different story because they got so carried away with their success all these years. They never stopped to learn about planting the feet, body shots, rolling, and when it goes beyond what they call their distance, 3-minute rounds, into 6, 8, 10 and 12 rounds as a professional, they're like a fish out of water. And you can understand why, can't you? But it's because they never got to practice, and they always practice this amateur style. So I believe when you go into a boxing gym as a kid, you are at a disadvantage if you're small, and you get the kids who walk in the gym who are fat too. And what I find mostly, not all the time, obviously, say you get the outliers, the little fat kids, if they want to do it, they'll carry on and they'll lose the weight. But in the meantime, the fat kid loses the weight alongside the weight loss. He starts to grow in confidence, but he's not a confidence fighter from the off. His confidence is built up. He depended on something inside him, self-belief. When everyone was looking at him and he knew that he was the fat kid, he was the odd one out, he depended on his art. And you see that with a lot of the kids who are quite chubby. They have the art. When you see them at the age of 18, you never know they were fat, you just think that they have massive hearts. And that is the case with a lot of kids who are quite chubby, you know. Is that genetics? I don't know. People say that it could be, but I don't know. I boxed my second fight lighter than my first fight, so it just showed that I had a little bit of timber. I did have a little bit of timber on me when I went to the gym, and it did benefit me when the timber came down. And my resilience in life, as well as fighting with the bigger kids outside the gym, then coming into the gym and realising it's a weight class sport and everyone's my size. So if I lose the weight, it was like the kids was almost smaller than me in a way. I had a little bit of mental maturity through my lifestyle upbringing. I've seen things that kids shouldn't have seen at my age, so I felt like I was an older kid against these younger kids going in the championships and fighting kids. That's how I felt. Small kids, that was my mentality. And then as you come through the ages, you start progressing. That's where opportunity comes in. Now some people call it luck, but I don't. I call it opportunity because you have to be in a position. You have to lose that weight, you have to go to the gym, you have to put all your time into this thing just to get the opportunity alone. No one come off the street and said, you're going to go to the Olympics, you follow this path and you're going to go to the Olympics. You have to be the one that brought yourself through the gym. Some people are lucky that they have parents, and you should appreciate this, that your parents put all the time into you. Fucking hell, well off here, aren't I? You're even going through another segue where pushy parents, that's a whole topic, that's a different story alone. But back to what we're going on about, well, try and get back to what we're going on about here. Yeah, you get to the age where you start getting placed in order of rank. It's around 14, 15. You start spotting your genetics. You start spotting your work ethic, your attitude, and they create something out of you, what they think they can do something with, and that's when you get selection. You fight for England, and then you fight for, Great Britain. I went to fight for Great Britain in massive championships, and then they start gearing you towards the Olympics, and they invest in you. I was at the age of 15. I got kicked off the Great Britain team. The first time I was on a Great Britain team, I got kicked off due to attitude alone. And what this is in a football sense, they start spotting the parents in the child, his attitude. They believe that the kid can go as far as parents in many situations. Then again, you have the outliers, don't you, in life? Like I was saying, I believed I was an outlier because I was able to change my attitude and get myself back on the Great Britain team, because I put it first and foremost, to put my whole life towards it. But that first year, I weren't able to stick to the plan. I got kicked off the team that was going to the World Championships for being a little bollocks, just because of attitude alone. Devastating to me, but it gave me the drive to carry on. A lot of kids wouldn't, so therefore attitude plays a massive part in it. So if you was a dead tall kid, you had a little bit of power around you at the age of 12, you'd have been nurtured into this position. Providing you had the heart, the stamina, you put the work in, you could have got yourself in a position at age 15, 16 where you were travelling for England. Now a lot of kids genetically just fell by the wayside because they didn't have the ability to keep up with these other kids from the early age. That's when it starts so early. You can even go back to, are you January born or whatever the school year is, you're the oldest in the class, because if you are, you're going to get more attention because you're smarter. The more attention you get, the more confidence you get. The more confidence you get, the more you think you can achieve in life. The attitude that you perceive goes into your work ethic, and then all of a sudden you're getting picked, you're number one. So that's even like, that's the thing, what time of the year was you born? So back to the story, Dad, for fuck's sake. So then you end up fighting all over the world. You've got that advantage. Now you're getting experience as a kid. You're getting experience traveling in the world. The experience that you're picking up once a year, the championships. You come home from going to these other countries with a different outlook and a different experience, different stylistically wise. You get to see all the other countries and you're picking up a lot of experience, and then you come home and now you're even a level above these kids who was even to you last year. 2 or 3 years of that, you're a mile apart. These other kids are now dropping off. Now you're in a new league. You're competing with the Eastern Europeans. Stylistically, I'll segue now into when I was an amateur boxer. The Eastern Europeans with the top lads, the Russians, none of them were super tall. None of them were small. A few of them were small. They were the outliers in the team. But the average Russian was medium height. Stylistically, he was fleet-footed and he was busy, high work rate, and that's who got the attention in their country. Stylistically wise, plays a massive part in it as well. So I've seen all these different countries who was winning the gold medals, and then you start replicating them and you get even a further advantage. So, but then you come to senior boxing and your power starts to play a part in it. Some kids who never had the power as a child, but they were winning everything, now going to championships against domestic level fighters who were just genetically strong, physical. They're a little bit older and they've got that power, and they turn over a few of the top lads. I've seen it a lot. Top lads getting turned over by people who couldn't do nothing but bang. So now we transition into the professional ranks. Now you turn over, you've had a great amateur career, you turn professional, but at the same time the ranks start again. There's going to be fighters who turn professional with the same heart and desire. The nearly kids at the age of 15, they become resilient to the fact that, no, I've been overlooked, I'm not going to take this shit anymore. I'm going to turn professional with my hopes and desires, and I'm going to make a good professional. Now these kids often, they have a different style. They're more flat-footed. Where it weren't rewarded in the amateur game, it's now you can get away with it a little bit more in the professional ranks. You can plant your feet, you can bang a little bit more. These kids often go a lot further than the top amateurs. Now, I'm not saying Ricky Hatton did fight for England, but Ricky Hatton, whether he fought for England or not, I believe he's always been a brilliant professional. Like Mike Tyson, he went to Junior Olympics for America, but either way, he was always going to be a good professional boxer. So styles change now, and I believe that the short and stout kids who never got the advantage as an amateur boxer, they now get the advantage because they're just strong. They're strong people, you know. And I always thought, no, don't be tall, don't be skinny, be strong, because my goal was to always be a professional. One day you're going to turn professional, you're going to need to rely on your strength. You're going to need to be able to go the distance. 12-round fight is a real fight, and stamina plays a big part in it. So a lot of these lads now turn professional. The stronger kids get more of an opportunity now. The punchers get an opportunity. People like to see that. You put bums in seats when you can put people over, and that's just a situation that a lot of amateurs don't realise. Olympians turn professional. You can't understand why the world's gone so bitter. It's because it's a total different game. And your genetic makeup, your stamina, which was directed towards 3-minute rounds, it's now changed. Everything slips on its head. You have to learn a new way. Have you got the capacity to adapt? That's another thing. Adaptability, that often comes through life. I believe that comes through your nature in life, adaptability. So now I'm sweating my head off here and I'm ranting bad, aren't I? But this is good advice for youngsters coming through, just not to be losing confidence in yourself if you are ever on the wrong end of these decisions, you know. Like sometimes I was stuck with the plan and it comes good if you have that self-belief in yourself, not listening to people telling you what you're good at, what you're gonna achieve in life, putting their limitations on you. Don't listen to that shit, because you'll get as far as you want to get and you'll make it work for yourself with the things that you believe in yourself. So yeah, your genetics can come back around as a professional, or your genetics as a professional, you're gonna have to adapt. You're gonna have to try something new, because you were so good as an amateur and now the sport's different. So yeah, there's plenty of there's a million and one things that I could go on about here, but that's just the shorter version of it. And you're gonna see somewhere along the road. I hope this benefited some young fighters coming through who are going through something similar. And yeah, thank you for watching. Maybe I'll do a part 2 on other areas around this, because there's so much to talk about. But I'm just ranting here because I could, because I've finished my run and I'm walking back to the hotel. And I thought I'd just give some inspiration and some knowledge, some lessons that I learned along the way to the young fighters who want to come through and fight and one day be a professional, and the routes that they want to take. Maybe I'll go on and talk about the best career paths to take if you have all options available, on what's the best time to turn professional, what's the best time to make that jump, should you stay a little bit longer, because I've got so much knowledge. I was on the wrong end of advice in that area. Not advice, just couldn't get advice because I didn't know anyone in that area. So yeah, that's my rant tonight. I hope it benefited some fighters. Let me know if you want me to speak about something similar regarding the same topic. But yeah, thank you for watching, family. I'm out. I'm lost. You have a nice night. And God bless.